Recently, the Armenian American Health Professionals Organization, AAHPO, celebrated 25th anniversary at the Palisadium Hall in New Jersey. Near 250 guests, doctors and supporters who throughout the years bear witness of AAHPO's devotion to the Armenian community here and in Armenia have gathered to celebrate 25 years of volunteer work of Armenian health professionals. AAHPO was established in the fall of 1994. Throughout the past 25 years, AAHPO's presidents and board members implemented and expanded AAHPO's mission, assisted by an increased membership, rejuvenating the organization by novel ideas and energy. Among the guests present at the evening were permanent representative of Armenia to the United Nations, Meher Markarian, Movses Abelian, UN Assistant Secretary General with his wife, as well as representatives of Armenian organizations. 25th anniversary program began with invocation by Very Reverend Father Simeon Adabashian, and the national anthems were performed by mezzo-soprano Hasmik Mechanijian. This followed by welcoming remarks of co-chairs of the banquet, Dr. Aram and Rima Gazazian.
It is our pleasure and honor to welcome you tonight at our 25th anniversary milestone celebration of the Armenian American Health Professional Organization. This landmark celebration represents an important progress forward into the future of AAHPO and establishes us on the map of professional organizations that will help educate and serve to save lives in our communities in this country and for our brothers and sisters of our beloved country, Armenia and Nagorno-Karabakh.
As you know, our mission is to improve healthcare awareness, increase disease prevention and detection, foster fellowship and career development of Armenian healthcare professionals, and provide medical support, education to both communities here in the United States of America and in Armenia, along with Nagorno-Karabakh. Welcome to our 25th anniversary banquet. Wishing you all a fantastic time tonight.
Master of Ceremonies of the banquet was Ani Hovanesian Esquire. She is a partner and chair of New York Tax and Wealth Planning at the Department of the law firm Venable.
Tonight, we are extremely honored to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the Armenian American Health Professional Organization. It is a great honor celebrating 25 years of selfless, dedicated service by health professionals who extend their precious time and energy after the pressures of a rigorous practice to improve our lives, educate the community, train and promote other health professionals, and ultimately improve humanity.
Keynote speaker of the evening was Dr. John Belizikian.
Dr. Belizikian is a professor of medicine and pharmacology at Columbia University and is vice chair and Department of Medicine for International Education and Research and chief of the Division of Endocrinology. Like the Michael Phelps of medicine, he has earned countless honors, medals, awards, and recognition for his breakthroughs in osteoporosis. He has published 850 papers in endocrinology, osteoporosis, and metabolic disease. He is a visionary whose dedication and commitment to research and his patients has radically transformed the entire landscape of osteoporosis. He travels around the world, but as of late, he has thankfully turned his attention and his expertise to Armenia.
With the slideshow presentation, Dr. Belizikian highlighted the work of AAHPO.
My thoughts about AAHPO are written here, by its organizational framework and its encouragement of Armenian healthcare professionals in the diaspora, AAHPO has made it possible to improve healthcare in Armenia. AAHPO helps to provide care where there is no care, to screen for diseases where there is no screening, to teach doctors who haven't been taught, and to encourage us all to do what we can to improve health in Armenia. The key ingredient for building an international program in Armenia is inspiration. And my inspiration, besides Rafi and a number of others, is the late, great Edgar Housepian, who was Dr. Housepian was a neurosurgeon at Columbia, and when he first went to Armenia in 1988, it changed his life. And he became a humanitarian, a pioneer, and a friend to all Armenians in Armenia and throughout the world. And in honor of this, and this is a picture of me with Arab Abloyan at the Arab Care Medical Center in Yerevan just a few weeks ago. The neurosurgery department at Arab Care Medical Center is going to be named, has been named for Edgar Housepian. And I think this is entirely fitting given all that he did for the country. In 1990, after a number of trips, Ed came to me and said, "John, you have to go to Armenia." He didn't say, "if you go," he said, "when you go." It took 17 years for me to go from New York to Armenia. But when the plane landed, it's a feeling that maybe some of you have had when you land in the motherland for the first time, and you get a sense that you're home. And that's the sense that I had when I landed in Armenia. Another keynote is finding a way to make a difference. And Ani has really eloquently described what the problem I see in my little world, a severe disease of osteoporosis. In 2007, when I first was in Armenia, I recognized that there was only one bone density machine for a country of 3 million people. One could diagnose osteoporosis if someone had a fragility fracture, but it wasn't even recognized then. There was no knowledge, interest, or association devoted to enhancing awareness of osteoporosis. So my quest involved these items, and I will briefly talk about them. One was to get these bone density machines to Armenia. This is the Makarian Hospital on Mashtots. It was the place where we placed our first DEXA machine in 2007 and has really begun the effort to place further machines throughout the country. And I have to thank the Hologic Corporation that has generously given about $1 million+ worth of DEXA equipment to the country of Armenia. And in fact, over the past 12 years, Armenia has become the #1 country of bone density machines per capita in Eurasia. Now, if you look at Eurasia, these are some countries in the region. In 2007, we didn't register at all, and now this is where we are. This map outlines the 10 machines that we've placed, including ARSAC, and over the past 12 years, we've done 35,000 bone density tests. The second part of our quest was to educate. And we have been conducting educational symposia yearly for the past 12 years. These symposia, and I'm just listing a few from 2014 through 2018, you can see the audience. And just a few weeks ago, we had our 13th annual Osteoporosis Symposium. This room held 450 people, but there were 600 there. There was no place to sit. And they stayed for the entire meeting. Now, I call this my osteoporosis education army. They're from the United States, the UK, Russia, Switzerland, Austria, Romania, India, Brazil, Hungary, Poland, and Iran. Now, it isn't just people from the diaspora, and you'll notice a number of these people are not even Armenian, but they found out about Armenia. Now, another quest was connecting. And, you know, you can do things in isolation, and maybe it does good, but you've got to make a bigger impact. And to this end, last year and just a few weeks ago, I met with President Armen Sarkissian. Here you see me on the left, and we had a very nice 45-minute discussion about osteoporosis. He was very interested, and a very sharp man, as many of you know, about what we're doing, and offered whatever help he could to make progress even faster. Our first project was to create a fracture risk assessment tool that would be specific to the demographics of the women of Armenia. Another project has to do with iodine. Iodine is a very important nutrient, and iodine, Armenia was an iodine deficient country up until about 20 years ago, but nobody looked at the problem until we began to do so. And in a series of studies and 4 papers, we have been able to show that Armenia is actually not, at this point, an iodine deficient country. We are in the middle of a vitamin D study. As you may know, we are in a global epidemic of vitamin D deficiency, but we do not know what the situation is in Armenia. So with a former medical student of mine now working in UC Irvine, this is an American who now speaks fluent Armenian, if you can believe it, and he goes and he has been spearheading this project that will define the status of vitamin D throughout Armenia, namely all 10 MARSs, and we will have those data within the next few months. And then finally, we're starting a study on calcium absorption with a new formulation of oral calcium supplementation, and we are the only country in the world that will be studying this. More than that, my vision began to develop more broadly, that maybe Armenia would find a way to reach the world. So what we have done is essentially to reach out to many countries and bring them to Armenia, and now this outreach has turned out to be an influx of interest so that everybody in Eurasia now knows about Armenia and what we are trying to do to deal with the problem of osteoporosis. And in fact, our reach has even become even more international.
Dr. Najarian and Dr. Kabikian will be giving a certificate of recognition to our keynote speaker.
25th Anniversary Recognition Awards were given to 2 distinguished physicians. First award was presented to scientist and groundbreaking researcher Dr. Susan Topalian. She was introduced by her husband, Dr. Drew M. Pardle. Dr. Pardle is a beloved professor of oncology, medicine, pathology, molecular biology, and genetics at the Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine.
When I was training as a fellow in oncology, we learned that there were 3 pillars of cancer treatment. Surgery, which was developed over a century ago, radiation therapy, and chemotherapy. And for adults with solid malignancies that weren't localized and curable by cancer, this really was, when I was a fellow, a death sentence. Now there is a 4th pillar of cancer treatment called immunotherapy. And this is a concept that's been around for a century, but it really has become the pillar for cancer treatment literally within the last 10 years. And a lot of that really was Suzanne Topalian's work developing anti-PD-1. And she'll tell you about how these antibodies disable a brake on the immune system and allow the patient's own immune system to attack their cancer. This has been really transformative. By next year, the group of antibodies that hit this particular pathway, which Dr. Topalian was the very first to develop and translate from the laboratory into patients, will become the single most prescribed therapy in cancer. We can on a personal note, I met Dr. Topalian over a slide projector 27 years ago at a meeting. We were both talking in the same session, and this really was love at first slide. In addition to having had the amazing opportunity to get to work and collaborate with Suzanne, and you can imagine when we're sitting at the dinner table every once in a while, she would say, we really should stop talking about, cancer immunotherapy and whatnot and talk about other things, and that lasts for about 2 minutes. But I also have to say, I'm not Armenian, but I really feel very Armenian. I really do. I was so embraced by the Topalian family and really got to know what being Armenian was. It was about love. It was about family. It was about doing good. It was about laughing a lot. It was about very long goodbyes. And sometimes long speeches, but that's it for now. It really is truly just a very special moment. I can tell you that Dr. Topalian, Suzanne has won many, many awards, but this is the most special of all of them to her. Suzanne.
Dr. Susan Topalian is a Bloomberg Kimmel Professor of Cancer Immunotherapy and the Professor of Surgery and Oncology at the Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine. Also Director of Melanoma Program and Sydney Kimmel Comprehensive Cancer Center, and an Associate Director of Bloomberg Kimmel Institute of Cancer Immunotherapy at Johns Hopkins. Dr. Topalian grew up in Teaneck, New Jersey, and her father, Malcolm Topalian, was a founder of St. Thomas Armenian Church in Tenafly.
Thank you so much. I'm so delighted to be here and so honored to be recognized at your 25th anniversary event. Drew is a hard act to follow, as you see. But I want to say that I'm really happy to share this evening with Larry Najarian. There's a long history there. Our fathers were among the founders of St. Thomas Armenian Church in Tenafly. I'll start by saying that I'm really grateful to my parents, Malcolm and Anita, and I think that many of you have known them, as well as to my entire family, for their unwavering support as I pursued a career in medicine and eventually in cancer immunotherapy that Drew mentioned. Cancer immunotherapy is a new way to treat cancer based on the ability of the immune system to recognize and fight cancer. My father talking about how to cure cancer. He started telling me about this in the 1970s when I was in medical school and Nixon had just declared war on cancer. He said that it should be simple to cure cancer despite the fact that it's literally hundreds of different diseases. All we needed to do, according to my father, was to find what he called the common denominator. It turns out that the immune system is at least one common denominator in the fight against cancer. In the 1980s, I pursued a fellowship in the surgery branch at the National Cancer Institute in Bethesda because cancer immunotherapy was the emphasis there. Somehow it made sense to me that the immune system should be able to recognize and destroy cancer cells the same way that it recognizes viruses and bacteria. In fact, when I interviewed for my job at NCI, they asked me what I saw as the future for oncology, and I replied that a cancer diagnosis, I thought, should be no different than a diagnosis of pneumonia, meaning that it's a serious disease, potentially fatal, but it should be curable if diagnosed and treated properly. So with that response to the question, I got that job. And I remained there for 21 years. I joined the faculty after my fellowship. Today, we're well on the way to realizing that dream that we had decades ago of curing cancer with the immune system. In fact, last year, the Nobel Prize was awarded to 2 scientists in our field, and in so doing, the Nobel Committee recognized that immunotherapy has been transformative as an advance and a new pillar in oncology. Tonight, I want to express my sincere gratitude to AAHPO. It's very meaningful to me to be welcomed and recognized by the Armenian medical community in a place that I call home. Again, thanks so much.
The second award was given to physician and visionary leader of AAHPO, Dr. Lawrence Najarian. Dr. Najarian was introduced by Dr. Ravi Hovhannisyan. Dr. Hovhannisyan has touched the lives of many individuals as a doctor, philanthropist, and community leader.
The proud son of Dikranagertsi, Vahan and Mary, when we had the pleasure of meeting 54 years ago when we first arrived in New Jersey. He is the ophthalmologist par excellence for the Armenian community of New Jersey and New York. Active in many other organizations and academic institutions, he has been honored starting from the Boy Scouts of America all the way to the distinguished Ellis Island Award. He has been the everlasting battery, no, the all-powerful dynamo, but more so the atomic power that has kept AAHPO to continue from one success to another, from one peak to a higher one. As president, he has not only guided, but also given, has advised, fundraised, served sandwiches, and then cleaned the table, besides driving miles and miles late at night. Please, in all of this, let us not forget and recognize his dear wife, Magda, who has sacrificed and worked with him all the time. Quality is not an accident, but the result of hard work, devotion, and commitment. He has not sought the limelight, but has been forced to be the spokesman for AAHPO most of the time. I am proud to present to you my good friend, the president of the Armenian American Health Professional Organization for the last 10 years, Dr. Larry Najarian.
I would like to extend my heartfelt thank you to all of the healthcare heroes, all of the volunteers, and the donors who together have been critical to AAHPO's success. I accept today's award on your behalf. I also want to congratulate my St. Thomas Fellow graduate and honoree, Dr. Topalian. It's truly incredible here. You know, we're seeing two different sides of medicine. I treat patients one by one, and she can today see a patient who has survived, a miracle survival over 6 years. And yet she works in the research lab, toiling late at night, worried about the cells, coming in Sunday morning early, and makes these discoveries, which helps millions and millions of people whom she'll never meet. It's really just so impressive with you and Dr. Pardo. Thank you so much for all that you do. And last but not least, but I really should say first and not last, please join me in acknowledging the power behind me, my great wife, Magda, and my 3 children, Carolyn, Gregory, and Christina. They've graciously allowed me to devote all of this time to AAHPO's mission, and believe me, you sit around the table talking about immunology, and we sit around the table talking about AAHPO. In some ways, my journey began right here in this very room 25 years ago when Corin and Setan Nalbandian invited Magda and I to join them at this organization called AAHPO for their first event. So that was our first introduction. And little did we know how transformative that day would be for us. Improving healthcare and saving lives is a very noble but very complex cause. It is a cause worth fighting for. It's a cause close to each of our hearts. It's as long as there is a need, we will never, ever give up. I promise you, with your support, that we will be more aggressive with our mission, as our mission has evolved to a higher calling. Our mission will not be diminished by the brevity of our lives. AAHPO's mission and all of our efforts will live on. We are most humane when we're part of the communities beyond our workplace, beyond our comfort zone. When it comes to AAHPO's philanthropy here and in the motherland, whether it be the one-on-one consultations, the medical workshops, the YouTube videos that we have, the TV show with Voice of Armenians, whether it be telehealth, medical missions, continuing medical education, or professional development and scholarship and mentorship. The normal rules of engagement do not apply. The normal rules of exchange do not apply because these activities really transcend value. They are really priceless. These extend and help human life. They give hope. Our brethren need us. They need all of us to be something more than just healthcare providers, donors, and volunteers. We must embrace the dignity of every soul and remember our shared human frailty. And we do this through giving and volunteering. Looking forward, we receive tremendous blessings. And I encourage all of you to get deeply involved in AAHPO, to partake in the personal benefits.
During his speech, Dr. Najarian announced the start of an entirely new program of AAHPO Scholarship.
The AAHPO Scholarship is given to a student enrolled, any student, in any graduate healthcare science program in the United States. It's based on academic merit, and the student must first qualify for the AGBU Scholarship Award. Our scholarship this year goes to a graduate of Lehigh University, where he earned a Bachelor's of Science, Neuroscience, followed by a master's degree in healthcare engineering. He was inducted into Phi Beta Kappa Honor Society and is a Lehigh Presidential Scholar. He currently is a second-year medical student at the Vagelos College of Physicians, Columbia University. Ladies and gentlemen, it really gives us such extraordinary pleasure to give this first AAHPO Scholarship Award to our very own Dr., not doctor yet, Paul Asadourian.
The evening ended with dancing to the tunes by DJ Harry. While the festive anniversary banquet came to closure, AAHPO's work is far from over. After 25 years, the organization is stronger than ever and continues with its important mission to serve the medical needs of Armenian community here in the United States and in Armenia.